It is often said in order to get paid more, you need to solve rich people's problem, which is true. This is a cliche I agree with. But unfortunately, not everybody can solve rich people's problem almost immediately. It's going to be abysmal to think someone from the lowest stratum of society rises to solve rich people's problem almost immediately. It's not plausible. Also, there are exceptions. I've said it countlessly. Generalization is how the world functions. In general, if I strike a lion, it will bite my hand. In general, it might be in a nice mood, but I'm not willing to find out. In general. So there are exceptions to rules. There are times where someone like Joseph, after suffering for years, becomes elevated by Pharaoh. Those cases exist. But in general, to the average individual, it's not so. Because it's most likely you're coming from the lowest echelon of society and you have no concept of what value is or what excellence, success in and of itself. Becoming valuable, becoming a master at anything you want to do is not necessarily the product, it's not necessarily the service, but there are so many concepts surrounding that one service you might not understand. There's character, there's humility, there's understanding excellence. So it's not necessarily the service you need to understand. And all of those concepts take years. I do not just say things that are logically sound. I try and give you the breakdown of why it is so. When I confess, it's not everybody that can rise to the highest echelon almost immediately. I'm giving you the undertone of why it's so. So your understanding of that subject isn't limited to axiom or dogma because Ifeanyi said. No, you have a unique understanding of why that is the case. So that's the first thing. Another thing you need to know, in the case where you can't rise to the highest echelon to provide service, you need to take advantage of scale. Very recently, I and my brother, we were deliberating whether to raise price. I was for the motion to raise price on a particular item. His argument, no, because this is a new product and we are still trying to build a clientele base. And he said something to me that still struck. He said something that struck home. He said something that I kept till this day. A concept I'm going to share to you today. He said a dollar multiplied by 10 million is profit. So a dollar multiplied by 10 million is profit. There's a knowledge, I wish I had a marker board to demonstrate, but there's a knowledge you unconsciously tap into, which is the advantage of scale. The advantage of scale. There was this tailor in my former apartment. She was above average. She could sew at a world-class level. So because she was in a local environment, it means every single person will cater to her service, creating some kind of monopoly. She wasn't the best, but she was above average. Before I left, she had constructed her own duplex. She has her own car. And to most, this might not be the result you desire. It might seem minuscule, small, relative to where you're headed. But to that background, it is a lot, especially for a woman. So the knowledge she tapped into unconsciously is the advantage of scale, taking advantage of scale. If you can sell to multiple people at a certain price, you would make profits. Now, unfortunately, catering to small clients comes with its own problem. If you serve shitty clients, you meet shitty people. I have this story. Have you ever seen a betting platform in Banana Island? Exactly, because that's not your target market, that's not your audience. There was this client we had in one of my management company where we manage rental properties. His annual revenue $2,000, but he would want us to spend our percentage, almost or half of our percentage, on maintenance. Any single problem, he's calling, he's trying as much as possible, we spend it on transportation or some kind of fix. That was his mindset. So if you serve small people, you would encounter small problems, you would encounter shitty customers. But this is something you need to do at the infancy of the business, at the infancy of the career. Then as you scale, as you build a clientele base, you can now raise prices. Or you can change clients. And I've said it, you do not solve problems by solving problems. You solve problems by identifying the cause of the problem, provide solution, and the problem melts like wax before sun. So how to solve that problem is not sending them an email saying we regret to inform or casting them out. It will destroy your brand. It will destroy every single thing you've spent decades building. So based on our principle, solving problems by identifying the cause, the best thing you can do is raise prices. And those who cannot afford, leave. Humans enjoy operating on their own terms, which subscribes to the famous saying, people want to buy than to be sold to. We love this illusion of choice that you left on your own terms. Including a relationship, the person who cries is the person they left. So why is the other person not hurt relatively? Because it was on his or her own terms. Yeah, so just to bicker and emphasize on skill and taking advantage of skill. Most of you are dead on arrival. You want to be the next boss who appeal to certain target audience and immediately dominated. As I initially stated, it's not so for everyone. If you don't have a clear vision of the business, you can start small and begin to develop as you move. As always, my friends, pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.